You're listening to Joe Holmes.
Making Waves.
Welcome to Making Waves with me, Joe Holmes. On today's episode, I'm joined by New York pop artist Hunter Blair Ambrose. Hunter, how have you been doing over the last few months? We've all had a rough time, but how's it been on you?
Challenging. Actually, when we had last done an interview, I think that was like 10 months ago, and I remember talking to you about releasing the EP, and like I was just about to put out November. I remember we were talking about, you know, do you want to tour this EP when it comes out? Like, what's the plan? Like, how are we going to promote it? Ended up pushing the EP back, and I ended up releasing it during the pandemic, which obviously at that time that we last spoke, I never would have imagined any of this would have happened.
No, the whole world's changed.
Yeah.
But have you been able to stay creative during this time? Have you been working on any music?
Yeah, I mean, I'm finishing up writing my full-length album, which is coming out in November. And, you know, the events that have been happening around the world, and also, you know, just in my personal life have definitely influenced a lot of that material. I couldn't really help it, you know, because we're living in such incredible times. And, you know, like, this has all had a pretty big impact on all of us on a personal level. Like, not one person was not affected by all of this. And it also took like a big toll on a lot of our mental health, you know. Yeah. So definitely touched on that with this record.
Yeah, and Scorpio season, the record, I mean, that's about your especially specific personal point in your life. So it's going to touch on different things that have affected you. I mean, have you learnt from the things that you talk about in your music? Is it can you listen to your own music and think, I was at one point then, and now I'm here, and now I'm at this pace, and I've built on who I was then, and I've been able to like self-reflect.
The idea of the album stemmed from, you know, a failed relationship of mine, but it turned into, that was like the core idea behind the record. But I think as time has gone on and more things have happened in my own life, it ended up becoming not only like an analysis of what went wrong in that relationship, but it also kind of was a catalyst for me to reflect on a lot of things about myself, you know, that I think contributed to that, you know, ending, but also like just turned into like a case study on my own mental health and why I do the things that I do, and you know, chasing this dream of mine. It ended up being more of like a psychoanalysis on myself too. So there's a lot of different topics that this album touches on. It's not just about, you know, like my failed relationship. The energy around this project is a little bit different, just because I've had a lot of not so great things happen in the last few months. But this album is really like serving as proof to myself that I can push, you know, past so many struggles to deliver this really special piece of work. So
yeah, definitely. And I think as we listen to music, we listen to other people's struggles and we learn from them, and people listening to your album are going to listen to what you've gone through, and it's going to be advice, and it's also going to show them that you're still there, you're still here, on call to me now on Zoom. I mean, you're still going and nothing's going to stop you. You're working towards your career. But where we are now this year, I mean, we've had so many setbacks. I mean, as you say, we were talking about touring before. Is that even a possibility at the moment?
I can't really, I mean, there's a very limited list of countries I could even go to, even if I wanted to. You know, I'm in the United States, obviously. I would love to be back on stage. I mean, that's really the thing that I miss the most. You know, going to shows, doing shows, meeting people at shows. Live music's such a big part of all of our lives, you know?
Yeah.
But that being said, like, the album's coming out in the fall. We don't have an exact date yet, so I'm not going to say one thing and then it changes, but it is coming by the end of the year. If I had a period, you know, to promote it and really do my thing, who knows where we're going to be at a couple months after the drop. So that would put us at about February of next year. Anything can happen, but, you know, this thing changes day by day. So I'm crossing my fingers. I would love to be back on stage.
And the show must go on. I mean, there's nothing. We've still got to put music out there. We don't know how we're going to deliver it. but it's just good that we still get to share that and we still get to create.
Here's Hunter performing an acoustic version of her debut single, Right Now.
There's too many in here to pull you closer the way I want to. Touch your glasses, I know that look in your eyes is too familiar. Right now it's just you and me. No other place I'd rather be. Maybe it's not meant to be. It's hard to get with your hands on me. Put your body on me, don't say a word. Up on walls against the world. Give it to me right now, just somehow, right now. Dance in circles, there's a chance you could end up romance. Don't think about when and how, just give it to me right now, now. I'm holding back in fear. I've been this way since I was 18. I'm lost in translation, cause I don't know. It's love or lust, but I'll go slow. Right now it's just you and me. No other place I'd rather be. Maybe it's not meant to be. It's hard to get with your hands on me. Put your body on me, don't say a word. Up on walls against the world. Give it to me right now, just somehow, right now. Dance in circles, there's a chance you could end up romance. Don't think about when and how, just give it to me right now, now. Your subtlety is so strong. Been holding out for so long. Don't care if I end up wrong. Your kiss is a crimson red, and it's all inside my head. Forget the tears that I've shed. Put your body on me, don't say a word. Up on walls against the world. Give it to me right now, just somehow, right now. And dance in circles, there's a chance you can end up romance. Don't think about when and how, just give it to me right now, now. There's too many in here to pull you closer the way I want to.
How's the process? Has the process been different for you? Have you been able to get into the studio, or have you been doing a lot of work from home?
I just recently got back into the studio to do not necessarily work on the album, although a couple of the tracks that I did do recently. Actually, that's one of my producers texting me right now about some finished tracks that we just did. So I just went back in the studio in New York about 2 or 3 weeks ago to do a cover of Reloaded, which is another song. And then we also did another track, which is probably going to be a bonus track on the album, but it's also going to be on another little exciting project that I have coming out at the end of September, hopefully, or the beginning of October. We're going to re-release the EP as a deluxe version with
now,
a few tracks.
The good people of Twitter are asking how many tracks on the album. Can you give them a rough guide? Because obviously anything can change. But what you're expecting?
20 tracks.
That's amazing. That's a good length. I mean, what we need right now is at home. We want the music. We've got the time to listen to the music, and sounds like it keeps us going.
And I've had plenty of time to write so much.
Yeah.
So much music. I mean, I started. Well, actually, no, now that I think about it, I pulled lyrics that I had written over the last 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
Perfect, because, you know, this past relationship of mine began going on 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was appropriate that, you know, I pulled different pieces of things that I've written over the last 3 years or so, because it's authentic to how I was feeling.
Yeah.
Through those moments, you know.
Yeah. And as you rework that old content, do you change much? And when you go into the studio and work with the producer, how much changes from your lyrics and concepts? How do they evolve?
Well, for example, I think that when I came in with my portions of November, I remember going into the studio, I had all of the lyrics pretty much written out, but the melody was a little bit different. And we also like ended up writing an additional like few lines here and there. So I try to go in there with like the form of the song completely done and most of the lyrics done, but keeping in mind like, because I'm really collaborative with my producers and they're also songwriters. So if they, you know, offer me an opinion of like changing a lyric here or like changing like a melody or a hook here and there, I'm like absolutely open to that. So anything can happen, but I am like the primary songwriter of all of my material. So I try to go in there with as much done as possible.
Yeah, and I've heard you say before that you're a lyricist and you start with lyrics first. Is that
Yep.
something you've always done?
Yep, always.
Yeah. How many people have worked on the record, like producers? How many different producers do you work with?
There'll be 3 different producers featured on the album. The EP was just one. And his name is Jason Strong, and like we've been friends for a while, and we went to school together. And he just like knows me super well. We get along really great. Like we just work really well together. But I did want to branch out with this album and explore a lot of different sounds that I didn't get to on the EP. I mean, there's more tracks, so by nature I do get to dive into more styles. I get to talk about more things. I get to touch on different aspects of my life and go deeper into this, you know, story that I'm trying to tell.
And what styles and sounds are you most excited to dive into and experiment with? Is there any ones that you've tried and you've loved, or ones that haven't quite worked? Which are your favourites?
I'm really excited about the more, well, I think that the longer tracks are like super cinematic because we get to go like really like insane on the instrumentals and everything. And I can tell you that I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of experimental R&B on this record because that's what I love. That's like the music that speaks to me the most. Like I'm definitely a pop singer, but I think I haven't gotten a chance to show people the wide range of influences that I have because it is vast.
Yeah, and it's important when you build yourself as an artist to branch out into the music you're passionate about, to show people you can take influences and inspiration from somewhere else and make them your own and blend it all together.
I'm singing all my life, so like I have listened to so many different artists over, you know, my 25 years, and I mean, I'm very proud of what we've done so far. There's a lot more to go. I'm not even done writing it. I'm not done writing it even yet. But I like to think that the EP was probably an example of some of the more pop-oriented stuff that I'm good at. I think it showed off my strengths as a really big fan of pop music, somebody who's influenced by a lot of like strictly pop artists. But I have so many like hip hop and R&B influences too. And like, I'm just super stoked for everybody to see, again, like the vast array of artists that I pull inspiration from.
Yeah, and that's evident in everything you do for your social media. You're always sharing the music you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. And in terms of visuals, have you got plans to bring the new songs to life? Is that a possibility, or are you working on it?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Recently, you've been shooting a music video for November. How has that? What can we expect from the video?
You can expect a really highly emotional piece of work. I actually wanted to be an actress before I wanted to be a singer. And I know that sounds really similar to something that Gaga has said a lot, but it's true. It's true. I was going to go to college for acting. I did acting all through middle school and high school. I have done like a few independent films here and there in my early 20s. Like, so I really wanted to like show off that side of myself. So there's me flexing my acting skills.
Ooh.
In the beginning, there's a lot of dialogue in it, and
That's amazing. I love music videos with dialogue because it's really cool how you can like bring the song to life in so many different ways. And as a songwriter, that's something that's really cool to do because you've got the word you've put into the song, you've got how you deliver it, and then you get to bring it to life visually and with dialogue. So you've been filming this video in lockdown.
Honestly, like all my crew wore masks, and like we were all as like cognizant of everything going on as possible. But like we filmed it in Boston. I'm currently living in Boston, Massachusetts, which is about 3 hours north of New York. And honestly, the city's been pretty opened up for the past couple of months. I think around late June is when things really started to get up and running again. So it was fine. I'm really glad that we pushed it back because we were able to go to specific locations where this story happened to me. It's hard for me to like want to give away a lot of details, but I will say like we filmed and took photos at the specific location where I met my ex at, and we actually reached out to the management of, it's a hotel bar. So we reached out to the management of the hotel, and they actually unlocked the doors of this bar that hasn't been open since March, since lockdown, for us to specifically shoot in there, and we had the whole space to ourselves. And it made me incredibly emotional to be back there.
Yeah, I was going to ask, has it been an emotional experience to return to that and bring the music? I mean, even though they might be old experiences, I mean, they're always there, aren't they? There's no escaping them.
No, especially because like the situation is still very fresh in my mind. Because I've been in communication with this person like off and on the last 4 years. Like it's not like,
yeah.
And going back there, and I hadn't been back there since 2018, actually. And so to finally return to that place that held so many memories for me, and then to hear like, to be there shooting a music video for my song, which is directly influenced by stuff that happened in that place. I mean, it like gave me chills, and I did cry on set, like a lot. I did.
But do you feel that makes you stronger? Did you feel some sort of like success or sort of strength coming there and managing to film? You've written a song about it, and then you're filming a music video there, and that's pretty cool. And you can look, I mean, you must have been emotional and cried at the end of this relationship, but going back there and filming, you must have felt success.
Yeah, and it was also kind of like a mourning, you know, for that time and that part of my past, because I had so many happy memories there, and you know, to see this bar like all closed down and dark and like, you know, desolate basically because of the pandemic, it made me sad, but it also did, like you said, it gave me like a sense of pride that I got to come back to this space that I spent so much of like my early 20s in. As a 25-year-old woman, like finally taking a hold of my career, it was a really special moment. And I think that you'll be able to see that in the video. You know, this whole video was about showing my evolution as a person from this experience. I think that was like the main takeaway from, well, not only the video, but I think this whole album, that's really what this is about. You know, where this whole thing took me, because like it or not, that experience and that relationship gave me the inspiration that made the beginnings of my career.
Don't belong to any city, don't belong to any man. Keeping it to myself, but you're on my mind again. I'm not the kind of man, babe, when you're under my skin. One night with you in my head, kinda weak and I forget. Yeah, you've been haunting me, but this ain't really me. Baby, can't you see what you give, you get? I know you got regrets, and every year in mid-November I'm the one you'll remember. let you go. Something that you should know. Can't say that I was wrong, but baby, it's been so long. I'm not the kind to admit, babe, when you're under my skin. One night with you in my head, kinda we can never forget. Yeah, you've been hunting me, but this ain't really me. Baby, can't you see what you give, you get? I know you got regrets, and every year in mid-November, I'm the one you'll remember. Yeah, you've been hunting me, but maybe it's just me. Baby, can't you see what you give, you get? I know you got regrets, and every year in mid-November, I'm the one you'll remember.
And I mean, I've written breakup records, and there's always some sort of like bittersweet aspect of them, where it's heartbreaking that you've gone through that, but there's also the sweet aspect that out of that heartbreak has come that beautiful creation. And when you release a record, you can look at it and think, I've had so much pain, and now I've got this. But does it ever feel good releasing such sad? Is there any sort of happiness, or is it sort of still bittersweet?
That's a good question. Well, I'm not totally at peace with like the whole situation yet, if I'm being honest. Like I have bad days. Like I have days where it's like I look back on the good times and I'm like, damn, like I really wish I could go back and like, you know, right my wrongs and do things differently. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have had probably the music wouldn't have come out the same. And I don't know, like I obviously can't speculate what would have happened if everything would have worked out great. But I mean, I look at my life now and I don't know what the future holds for that situation. But as of right now, I can say, you know, this may not have worked out the way I wanted it to. But look at what I do have. You know, I have like great fans. I have people who are really passionate about the things that I put out. I don't take that for granted at all. I mean, to give you like a perspective on this, when I wrote Right Now, like my first single, I didn't have any of this. I had none of this. Like I was just a college kid. Well, I just dropped out of college, but I was like a 21-year-old girl who was just like really in love with this guy. And I just wanted to write a song. I was in music school. I wanted to write a pop song. I didn't have any fans. I mean, I had a couple people who would listen to my covers on SoundCloud and YouTube. Like I had none of this.
Yeah. And how does it feel having that now? Does it give you more drive? Does it give you more passion to want to do it and do it quickly? Because obviously starting a new career is quite scary, and sometimes like you don't have any like faith in yourself some days. And does having the people there supporting you really motivate you?
The urgency is there to put out new material. And also like at a high level, I put a whole team together. I got an incredible manager who I've been with since about January. I stepped everything up in terms of like production level, my look, like everything. I mean, once I started gaining like a fan base, I was like, oh, okay, people are actually interested. And like, this is resonating with people. Like my music is resonating with people. So this is like working on some level. So it does give you like more incentive to be like, capitalize on the fact that people are interested, because they're not always going to be interested.
No. And I mean, you've got an amazing story with November, which you can't ignore, where the writing credit with Gaga made like a video of you playing November on piano go viral. Now, can you tell us a bit about this story? Because some people might not know this.
Oh, yeah. Last summer, I think is when it happened, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I had reached out to her publishing people to be able to use a sample of, well, it's not really a sample, it's just kind of me using, like, it's me singing but I just needed to get permission to use that piece of her work. And as soon as that was like on public record and showed up on like her songwriting publishing page, etc., and people saw my name next to a new song that, you know, came up on her registration profile, I had posted a video of me like rehearsing the song, playing piano in black and white, and people automatically assumed that it was Gaga singing the track, partially due to the fact that like we, you know, have a matching tattoo there. But also, you know, I've gotten this comment a lot and I'm like super flattered by it, but I think that people do see a similarity between the sound of my voice and Gaga's, which I don't think we sound, you know, identical or anything, but I'm super flattered that people at least can pick up on the influence that I do have from her.
And with new artists, I mean, you've got to admit that you've been very lucky with your discovery and with your fan base. What advice would you give to newer artists that want to dive into their career but are having like trouble at the moment? What advice would you give them? What hope?
Well, my experience with it was super unique. Like I wasn't expecting that. That's very like rare for that type of thing to happen. That's like a very specific case. But I would just say keep writing. Every week, write something. Every week, like keep writing music until you find something that you're like, you know what? Yeah, I love this song. I love this poem. I love this whatever. And you'll know, because like you'll just know you're passionate about it. And keep putting it out there. Share it with the world. Even if it gets like 10 views, like 3 likes on Twitter, it doesn't really matter. You know, because if you're passionate about it, keep doing it. Because you'll get more experience and get more confident with it, and you just don't know where that'll take you. Because I didn't know where it was going to take me.
Yeah, and that's fantastic advice. Thank you for joining us, Hunter. It's been amazing to talk to you. Do you have any message for the people listening?
I would just like to say thank you to everybody who's stuck with me through these crazy times and all the ups and downs of my career and life. I don't take any of this for granted, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I hope to be on stage sooner than later. And I look forward to sharing this album with you all. Thank you so much.
A massive thank you to Hunter Blair Ambrose for joining us on the second episode of Making Waves. You've been an awesome guest, and I've loved your performances of your singles Right Now in November. So beautiful. I can't wait for your lead single off your album Scorpio Season, which is coming very, very soon. I won't give any details away, but ladies and gentlemen, you better be ready. Hunter Blair Ambrose, everybody. I am Joe Holmes. I'm an 18-year-old songwriter, author and music enthusiast. I'd like to thank my friend Liv from Bear and Born Studios for designing the cover of this podcast. Stay tuned for more exciting guests that are making waves in the music industry with exclusive performances and interviews. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
You are listening to Joe Holmes.
Making waves.